Hello, everyone. I'm very conscious that I'm I think I might even be the last speaker, so I'm not going to keep you from your coffee for too long. But I'm delighted to be speaking at this time because every speaker who's gone before has kind of laid the path for my presentation. We've learnt in the beginning about the importance of innovation in business models, in fintech, and in the role that Jersey, with all of its unique characteristics, can play in that. The conversation about data and data trusts and artificial intelligence was massively important, and there are some key elements there. Artificial intelligence depends upon data, and the old adage, garbage in, garbage out, is as true for the most advanced AI platform as it is for the Excel spreadsheets that we currently do our rudimentary AI on today. And I'm living at that whole how to get good data place. So there's going to be a tiny bit of geekishness in the next few slides, but they all actually tie into the role that data plays, the opportunity for fintech, and importantly, given that this event is hosted by Digital Jersey, the amazing role that Digital Jersey can play in helping promote this. How many of you have sat in a room where someone has said the words, "How hard can it be?" And when you hear those words, do you normally feel joy, or do you feel a sense of slight impending doom? Because how hard can it be is something that I have a tendency to say far, far too often. And 8 years ago, after running a conference on the environmental monitoring, I was the idiot who said, how hard can it be to monitor air quality at low cost by comparison to the very expensive methods and techniques? That was 8 years ago, and I have got an answer for you. The answer's at the end, but I'll tell it to you now. Very hard. It's very hard, but we've spent 8 years learning how to do it. And the scale of the challenge is what's startling. And again, this ties very, very much into the work around smarter cities. The scale of the challenge is that in order to really understand the environment, in order to really understand what's going on in a smart city, you have to gather data from an awful lot of different places. And it's not just that, because actually gathering data is often quite easy. It's getting it out again that's the tricky thing. And so just take an island like Jersey, the number of different places where, if we really want to understand the environment in Jersey, if we really want to start making some real improvements around sustainability, we have to instrument cows. I am assured that the Jersey cow has been benchmarked against other cows and is one of the lowest producers of methane amongst cow breeds. So you should be pleased in that regard. But then there's freight. There's the quality of water, the impact on water quality of agriculture. There's understanding the impacts of commerce and industry and transport and, of course, people. And, of course, then there's bringing that data together. So you've got one problem, which is, well, what do we measure and how do we measure it? Then the next problem is, how do we bring that together and make it meaningful? And this is what we've learnt. There's no one magic sensor that will do all of this. And in sensor technology, as you can probably imagine, it's evolving all the time. So any solution that you build needs to be aware that actually the sensors are going to improve. They're going to get better. New sensors will be invented. You can't stick to a single type. Bringing the data together. Data is sociable. It's so much more powerful and valuable when it's actually brought together. There's no point in creating a dozen data silos. And back to the work that the United Nations is doing, back to the amazing visualizations that Joel and his organization are doing, none of this is worth a dime until we do something about it, until that data is put to work. So how do you make it as easy as possible to actually make the data work? And that's been my job as a CTO for our little company for the last many years. In the context of air quality, currently Jersey has one very high quality reference air quality monitoring station located at the market. We could create a model that would tell you roughly what we think the air quality is in other parts of Jersey, but in this context, model is just data science language for wild stab in the dark. What we've got today, and this is deployed today, is an additional network of, in fact, it's very close to 50 air quality sensors spread across the island. Now, these aren't £100,000 air quality monitoring units. These are much, much less expensive, which means that obviously they're much more affordable. They don't deliver data at the same accuracy and precision as a £100,000 laboratory spec piece of equipment, but by implementing a sensible process of management, a sensible process of collaboration, this can provide really, really useful data to help us enrich our understanding of what's going on. Hyperlocal monitoring makes data locally relevant. If you want to understand the health impact of data, there's no point in knowing what the average is for the entire island. You need to know what's going on in the high street, in the side streets, on the esplanade. Real-time monitoring is important because if we want to take real-time decisions on the basis of air quality, we need real-time air quality data. And of course, yes, none of us has a gabillion pounds to put the best instruments all over the place. So it's how do we find the optimal solution in terms of accuracy of data and cost and deploy it. Deploying at scale is interesting. And this is our experience is that most of the air quality monitoring projects that have taken place are relatively small scale. And if you've only got 5 units and one goes wrong, you can get on your bicycle and go and fix it. If you have an ambition to deploy hundreds or even thousands of units, you need a different set of processes. And this is the work that we've been doing. And we've been partnering with a Digital Jersey to do this. So in the course of the deployments that we've been doing, we've been learning an awful lot. And I'm going to bore you a tiny bit with a little bit of geekery. This is one of the fine air quality monitoring units. This is in our lab. It took me ages to find a piece of lamppost that I could sort of screw into a desk in the lab. And this comes with a very standard bracket that needs about 3 hands, in fact, to assemble, several pieces of strapping and so on. Certainly, it's not a one-person job. So we've done a lot of work designing a special bracket which is designed so that one person holding their ladder with one hand can actually take a unit off, put it aside, put a new one on, and get it going. It's the one, and indeed I won't show it to you because it's too horrific, but we do have video of me actually doing this. So this is the kind of stuff that we do at the ground level to make this process of gathering the data that we need in order to get accurate insight, and then flow it into the great platforms that people like Joel can offer us to help us visualize it. So this is fairly nerdy stuff, and it's why I love my job so much, because I get to arrive and play with a 3D printer, or do some soldering, or bark at some apprentices, which I do fairly regularly. But this is the nerdy, techie stuff that lives at the bottom. Calibration, again, is another challenge when it comes to air quality, making sure that the devices are accurate. And if you've only got 2, you can normally find a reference station where they'd be happy for you to sit your devices next to theirs. It's not so good if you've got hundreds, though. Not many councils would let you do that. So we're developing an automated calibration chamber, which is like a sort of dishwasher for devices. But again, this is stuff we're doing to make it possible to scale this and develop it. And Digital Jersey, the environmental folk, have been absolutely key to helping us implement these solutions and start getting real air quality data. So thank you very much indeed for your attention. Thank you.